Ironing.
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 Ironing. No.
Ironing.
Ironing. Ironing. So I thought it was easy, but it was not. It was kind of funny because it spritz all the time. I know was when I'm ironing, it's like easy. You have the water and that's it. And here it's so much little details that can go wrong if you don't do it right, like I did. You will see.
You still don't know what you're making.
Oh.
Not yet. But it's time to press. Now, pressing matters. It really matters for accuracy. And the biggest goal of patchwork is quilting, all those fabrics, is to get it flat. Now, let me just share with you what I've got. I know there are ironing boards, and most people own an ironing board, and you can use that. It's certainly fine, but it has limitations because you've got this long area this way, but you don't have much before the fabric is falling over the edge the opposite way. As you start working on your quilting space, I can't stress enough to get a pressing board. Make your own pressing board. This pressing board is simply made out of what we call OSB. You can see that on the back side. And we've taken cotton batting, and the reason it's cotton is because, you tell me, why is it cotton instead of poly batting? It's a hard
Melt?
Melt, no. Yeah. The polyester
don't melt.
Polyester just can't take the heat, but cotton can take the heat. So I have cotton batting on this, and then I've wrapped around a plain fabric. I used a staple gun for the back side so that we could just get this all secured. And now you can make these in any size. You could have 2 or 3 different ones in different sizes. I like to have one that I can pick up. I mean, I wouldn't want it to be...
This is like 1 inch?
This distance, it's about 36 inches, maybe 34 inches. It's not quite a meter.
Yeah,
so that's something you're familiar with, right? Okay, so anyway, this is a pressing surface. I highly stress it. All right, so now let's grab some of your strips. You can choose, and because they're
the best one.
They're still all together, you may need to use the snips.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
Remember the snips? We've got them over here. Yep, you could get the snips.
It's my first time. Okay.
All right, snip. Boom. All right. And which one are you going to use?
Well,
they all got to get done.
Yeah, that one.
So that'll work. All right. So let me do this first one for you. One of the things that quilters like to do is what we call set our seams. And that is just simply taking the iron, taking everything on this and giving it a little tug and just kind of using the heat. And I have a pretty hot heat here. I'm not up to linen, but I'm definitely on the cotton setting on the iron and trying to get this nice and set first so that it's nice and straight. And this kind of pushes the threads down into the fibers as well. So doing a press, take your time because pressing really matters in quilting. Now, there's 2 ways to press. The quilt police are going to tell you to always press to the dark side.
No, I won't do it.
Give yourself to the dark side.
Okay. I will press the dark side.
Now, which one of these is dark?
Well, blue.
The blue is darker than the red. So if I was to press to the dark side, I would be pushing this seam into the direction of the blue one.
Okay.
All right? Now, on this project, it's really not going to matter so much about that. But when you do have a super light fabric, like a white or a creamy buttery yellow, if you press to that light side, we get what's called shadowing. The darker fabric shows and shadows through to the front side. So that's why we press to the dark side. On this project, it really won't matter. A lot of people on some projects will want to do what we call press the seams open. And pressing the seams open means that we are taking one to one side and one to the other. And once it gets open, you can then press the seam open. it makes things really flat.
Flat, yeah.
When you press to one side, you have one layer on one side and 3 layers of fabric when you press to one side. When you press open, you have right at the seam 2 layers on each side.
Okay.
So a lot of people will press open, but for this project, we're not. It takes more time. We don't need to. It's not necessary for this project. So I don't care if you press to the dark side or the light side, but I do like to press from the top side first, meaning this is going to open and this is the good side. This is the right side of the project so that I can press into that seam. See how I'm kind of pushing it as I go? So let's pull it and just keep, watch the iron, just keep pressing into that seam, because what I don't want is a pleat. Are you familiar with that word? Pleat.
Pleat?
Pleat.
No.
All right. If I were to press this here, it looks nice, but look what I've got.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
That's called a pleat.
When ironing shirts.
Yeah, you get a little crease and you don't want that. So we want the seam to be really nice and done. Let me tell you now what I do. I also like to use a spritzer bottle, because normally we put water in the iron to create steam, because steam is going to make it all behave a little better.
True.
The reason I don't put water in my iron is because as a quilter, we use our irons every day. If you're putting water in your iron every day as you're working, it's not long before the minerals and the things that are in that water, it's just going to cause the insides of the machine, of the iron, to go bad, and it won't be long until you're getting water dripping out of your iron. So
it's true, because sometimes when I iron every time, so I can see it's like white inside. So
and sometimes it starts to rust.
Yeah,
and then
you
the
need
water
buy
turns brown.
Another one.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So a spritzer bottle is great, and I want it to have a fine mist.
It's just water?
Just water, pure water, and I will spritz it onto. You see, I didn't do much, but that gave me enough moisture to make sure that this is going to be really flat. The iron is going to dry that moisture, and we now have a really, really flat strip. I'm not concerned that this is curving just a little bit. That's not a problem for this project.
When I was talking?
No. It wasn't necessarily your situation at all. It is kind of the nature of the beast when you're sewing long strips. The tension on the sewing machine, there's a top tension and a bobbin tension.
Yeah.
And if one of them is a little stronger than the other, it can cause these long streaks to kind of bend.
I thought it was my fault.
Nope, not your fault. And also, everybody, this is normal and it's common. And as we get further along in quilting, we're going to try to remedy that. But I'm trying to give you a project where little things like that just don't matter yet. I want you to succeed with the process, and as we keep going, I'm going to give you more and more things to learn and be more precise with, but not today still, okay?
Okay.
All right, so now let's see how you do with ironing a strip of fabric.
So,
hey, Barley.
I will try the small one. And
yeah, a small one would be good.
Okay.
Hey, Barley. Barley's down here giving us some love. And there's Rosie. How you doing? How you doing? I know. Okay. Thank you. So a little spritzer, just a little spritz, just to get it a little moist. No, do it again. Because instead of just a little bit, go squish, squish, squish.
Oh my
it's
gosh, I'm gonna wash the quilt.
No, because it makes it spray really good. There you go. Perfect.
Oh my gosh. And I push. Like you did.
And I would put my finger. This is interesting to watch somebody do this. Let me move back. I would take my finger and push in front of the iron. Are you crazy? No. Look, watch. See, you're going to do the next one. See where my finger went? It was constantly pushing against it rather than just letting the iron do it.
Okay.
It'll work. So you do the next one. This one's done. Go ahead and
Okay.
get you another one. You're not doing anything wrong. This is honestly amazing to watch, to see how you might manage something. And there's not going to be one way, but because I want to avoid those pleats,
Yeah.
let me cut that for you.
No, it's together.
Oh, it is. It's two things on one. That's fine. Yep.
Okay. So
Yeah, big spritz. And there you go. That's good.
and I will
Yeah, see what you're
start.
doing? You're pulling, exactly. And you're making the seam go one direction.
So here, it's a bit
Okay, now,
complicated.
See, you want to make sure that the seam is laying this way so that it will then flop over that way. Yep. I think you might get a twist going on here.
Where?
Well, I'm going to look. I'm going to wait till you finished, and we're going to look at the back side of it. Yeah, and you need to pull it this way. Let's just look at the back, see what's happening. All right, see when I said twist, it was going this way,
Yeah.
and then somehow it flipped that way. And that happened primarily, and I know you're going a little bit fast, but as you go, if you'll lift up this side, see
Oh,
where my
yeah.
finger is?
Yeah.
And then I'm forcing it to go that direction, and then I know, and I can feel the ridge with my
Okay.
finger. And then the other thing I'm going to say as you continue to do it is, yes, indeed, you really do want to try to get it to go as straight as possible. So if you feel that it's bowing, and I'm still looking at this, it's fussing with us right here.
Yeah.
Let's get that one nice and straight. But then you can pull it into a straight line and then press it again so that it is straight. When did you start ironing?
I start ironing when about 7 years.
7 years old or 7 years ago?
No, 7 years old.
Really?
Yeah, you know. Yeah, I start ironing about at the age of 7 because my mom worked all day and night, so she had to give to me and my sister some home tasks. I started cooking at age of 7, 8. Ironing, it was one of the, I think it was the Thursdays and Mondays. So every time we need to do that.
When we lay this down, right, I want to lift this one up so that I know that this part is flat so that I can push it over that direction. And I will continue to lift it up so that I keep pushing it over that so we don't get that twist like you got before.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of laying it down, but laying it down so that it's flat. And
Yeah.
remember, we want to set the seam. I don't think we set the seam on the last one. The first thing we want to do is set the seam so while it's flat, a little bit of moisture, and then setting the seam. Now you're gonna let the blue one stay flat and push over that direction. All of these things take a little bit of time. But when I say a little bit of time, I'm reminded of your last experience of sewing these strips. It was really awkward at first. There you go. It was really awkward at first, but then it got easier, and you will find the rhythm. One more time, let me get over here. As you lay this down and you know this is there, that you'll keep this finger running in front of it so you can feel that ridge with your fingertips. Again, my way is not the only way. I see that you're trying to get the fingers on the blue, and I'm trying to get right there, exactly, so you can feel what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah, that's awesome. Let's come this way a little bit. Okay, so, and let me show you another one. I see that you're coming down like this, and I'm seeing a pleat. Do you see that pleat? Let's bring it over to the camera because I want everybody to see it. See where this is? Look. That's going to cause inaccuracy in your patchwork because we're dealing with minuscule measurements later on, not in this project, but later on. So learning to not have pleats, and by doing this, if you can pet the iron into this strip, right?
Like push it.
It's pushing it away from there. So let you keep doing that. You're still going forward. Look. Yeah, swing that way. There you go. There you go. Again, it's all going to come in time in patchwork. Yeah, now, everybody that's a quilter is screaming right now because you truly are pushing and distorting. You guys, that's what we need to do on these. I will teach him a different way of pressing later on, but for right now, we're just trying to get a nice, good strip, all right? So I'm going to let you keep doing that. That's going to be the pressing matters for quilting. And I'll say goodbye for this particular episode, and we can have a little follow-up chat when you're done with all this. Does that sound okay?
Okay.
All right. We'll see you in a little bit, everybody.